That's what I just did.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Racing Podblast with me, Tony Mack, and Ben Aiken from Narrow in the Field. And here we go this week. Welcome along, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're off to Ascot this week, covering 3 races from their Saturday King George card before closing out the show with our ante-post top, middle and bottom Scottish Lower League Trixie coming up. Racing first, though, to Ascot we go with the first of our 3 races under analysis, the Group 3 Valiant Stakes at 2:25. Ben, the Valiant, what do you fancy?
Oh, yeah, it's the Valiant Stakes. Decent looking field going to post for the Group 3. Looks competitive enough renewal, I think, despite only 8 runners. I narrowed the field down to the following 3: Friendly Soul, Soprano and Doom. Friendly Soul went off odds on for the Musadora last time out of York. It's never really looked happy at any stage that day. I think she took a strong hold, hung right throughout. So this drop back and trip on a right-handed track should, in theory, see her produce a better effort. The Gosdens have some strong stats at Ascot in non-handicaps, restricted to fillies and mares over 1 mile to 1 mile 2. The stats get stronger, especially when it's a GB or Irish bred horse and the ground is good or quicker. 18 winners, 9 placed from 56 qualifiers, 32% win strike rate, 48% win and place strike rate, over 69 points profit. So there's definite positives for Friendly Soul there, who will looking to bounce back, but I think these conditions will allow her to run better than she did at York. Soprano has shown consistent form throughout her career so far. Her win in the Sandringham Stakes 2 starts back from a mark of 100. That marked her out as one that was plenty better than a handicapper. Form of that race has worked out well enough to date. And she ran a solid third last time out in the Coral Distaff at Sandown. Despite having the worst of the draw, she was drawn 9 of 9 that day. Both Soprano and Friendly Soul are favoured by how the weights are framed in this. They are both top rated on official figures, and they're able to take advantage of the 3-year-old allowance. So plenty to like about Soprano as well. And Doom is the other I stuck on my shortlist. I thought she was worth a mention as she caught my eye off the back of some Dubawi stats I have plugged in. Dubawi Offspring over 1 mile, 1 mile 4 on the Ascot round course. In the July to September period, they returned stats of 24 winners, 12 placed from 73 runners, 33% win strike rate, 49% win and place strike rate, and over 87 points profit. That's stats that Doom does qualify on here. I also thought she ran a decent race in the Duke of Cambridgeshire, or no, it's the Duke of Cambridge, Stakes at Royal Ascot. It was a tight looking race, but I'm going to side with Soprano. I think that third in the Distaff at Sandown last time out is better than it looks. I also noted the record of George Bowie in turf group races with his fillies and mares in the April-August period, and it started shorter than 6-1. Since the start of 2022, they are 5 wins and 4 placed from 10 runners. The only one that didn't place finished a close 4th of 13 in a Group 1. So the trainer does have a very strong recent record with similar types to Soprano, and she'll do for me in the Valiant Stakes. Tony, what have you got?
He certainly knows how to train a horse, doesn't he, George Bowie?
He does.
Absolutely brilliant trainer. I'm with you on Doom, mate. William Haggis and Tom Marquand. I'll be possibly playing that each way. He's finished 3rd in the Athasi, Group 3 Athasi Stakes at the Curragh in May, before last month turning up at Royal Ascot, as you say, in the Duke of Cambridge Stakes, finishing 3rd of 14, beaten 4 lengths. I do like that form there. And William Haggis is in good form with his hitting the, this being in each way. He's got a 46 or 47% winning place strike rate in the last 14 days. 5 winners from 43 runners, but another 15 hitting the frame. So he's hitting the bar plenty times in the last 2 weeks, is William Haggis. Devoted Queen as well also interests me. for William Buick. Hopefully warming up for Glorious Goodwood next week. It's probably a little skinny for me, Devoted Queen. So I will it's a similar price, but I think it's a value price here on Soprano for George Bowie, Billy Loughnane. As you say, Ben, he won at Royal Ascot, winning the Sandringham, and then ran well in a listed distaff at Sandown just earlier this month, finishing third of 8, beaten 1 3/4 lengths. Bowie, as we've alluded to, in good form, and especially in the last 14 days, a 23% win strike rate in the last 14 days. 7 winners from 30 runners, and another 7 hitting the frame there for George Bowie in the last 2 weeks. Soprano for me as a win bet, and we'll be going Doom each way as well in that one that's off at 2.25. On to the 3 o'clock, the International Stakes. Best luck with this one. 18 runners at the moment going to post, Ben.
Yeah, it's one of those chunky straight track blasts over the Ascot, 7 furlongs. Some solid race trends at play to help narrow the field. The following trio of trends chopped the race from 18 down to 7. The last 12 winners were all aged 4 to 7. Ran in a Class 2 turf handicap last time out for horses aged 3 or older. And their last win came at Class 3 level or above. A strict application of those trends would chop the field down to Orazio, Northern Express, Carry the One, Ropey Guest, Metal Merchant, Divine Libra, and Alto, the Bunbury Cup winner. Now, I've notes on a couple of those shortlisters. Orazio was last seen in the Wokingham at Royal Ascot. It ran a huge race there from the near side, the high stalls, because he had no pace to aim at. The pace being all over on the other side of the track. £3 rise to 103 for that effort may not be enough to anchor him. He does look to be at his peak in the April to July period, where he has form of 3 wins and 3 placed efforts from 7 starts. His Ascot form also reads well. A win, a third of 25 and a 6th of 27, so he goes well here. Only unknown we have is the fact he goes over 7 furlongs for the first time in this race. If he stays, then he surely goes close. That's Orazio. Northern Express has run 4th in this race the last 2 seasons. Last year, off the same mark, he runs off here. Cheek pieces go on for the first time for this run. See if they can just squeeze out that little bit extra. And those first-time cheek pieces are potentially very interesting. I had a look at Michael Dodd's runners wearing first-time cheek pieces since 2018. I then looked at those running over 7 furlongs or shorter, and it finished 1st or 2nd last time out. They returned a form line of 1st, 2nd, 2nd, 1st, 6th of 20, 1st and 1st. So 5 winners and 2 seconds from only 8 qualifiers. And Northern Express fits those stats here. He also goes well under these conditions. Fields of 18 or less in May to September, and off breaks of 12 to 30 days, where he is 5 wins and 7 places from 16 starts. Downside is he's probably a bit more exposed than your average winner of the International Stakes. Maybe a place is more likely than the win for Northern Express, but definite positives for him. And Bunbury Cup winner Alto is the other worth mentioning. He's one of the more unexposed types in the field, and he's shown some really progressive form so far this season. Due to this being an early closing race, he gets to run off a mark fully £4 below his actual mark, and a mark that's only £2 above his Bunbury Cup winning mark. Given he won that by comfortably 2 lengths, it's not hard to think he looks attractively handicapped here. Alto. In truth, I could probably make a case for a number of the field. Unsurprisingly, it looks seriously competitive. We're going to throw one more trend out there. 22 of the last 26 winners of the International ran at Royal Ascot or Newmarket's July Festival last time out. I'd previously run at least once at Ascot and had 2 to 6 starts in the current season. That leaves Orazio from the 3 I just covered, so he will do for me. Orazio, what you got for this handicap, mate?
Yeah, we've got special mentions for Make Me King and Billy Joe that were kind of on a large short list, and also to Summergand, though I don't think he'll be doing anything as a 10-year-old anytime soon is old Summergan, but he owes us nothing, and I hope he runs well and doesn't disgrace himself tomorrow. I'm sure he won't. But I'm with Dancing Magic at a big price. There he was last seen at Sandown last month, or in a handicap, Class 2 handicap, finishing 14th of 15. But he's better than that form. I think that was just a little blip for him. He has run well at Newbury in April, and once again finishing 2nd of 13 at Chester's May meeting. He may bounce back to form. Dancing Magic tomorrow and hit the frame at a big price. Northern Express, I'm with you as well, Ben, for Michael Dodds, Paul Mulrennan, last seen at York, finishing 2nd of 14 in a big handicap on John Smith's day as well at that meeting earlier this month. I think Northern Express, and I think you mentioned the first time cheek pieces as well, Ben, there on Northern Express. I think that can make a great deal of difference. And unfortunately for listeners who like us to have different views on the races, I'm with the Ratio for Charles Hill and Will Buick, as he's now known as. He's dropped the Liam bit. He's now wants to be known as Will Buick now, not William Buick. Finished 3rd of 25 at Ascot in the Wokenham Stakes, when last season beaten a half a length by Unequal Love at 16-1. He did again another one that's dropped a little bit of a stinker in April at Newmarket in an apprentice handicap. Stallions app. It looks, you shouldn't be allowed to advertise apps. Looks like an apprentice handicap, isn't it? But it's not. But anyway, Newmarket in April, he's better than that form suggests, and he certainly proved it in the Wokenham, finishing 3rd of 25. A Ratio for me at around 13-2, Northern Express 14-1, and Dancing Magic around 33s. On to the big one, Ben. Here we go. 340, the King George, the Group 1 King George Stakes over 1 mile and 4 furlongs. Your thoughts on this one? Is he a skinny? Is he too skinny a price?
On the William Buick, what do we call Will? I'm going to call him Willie Buick. Bugger that. Willie Buick.
Willie, yes.
Nah, enough of the Will, man. Jesus. Willie Buick. Anyway, Willie Buick and Willie Haggis, that'll do me.
Yeah, he used to be called Willie Haggis, didn't he, when he first started?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did, yeah. And then he, I don't think he liked the Willie bit, so he went to William.
No luck on calling him Willie as well. Anyway, but the King George, August Rodin, obvious one to start with here, 5-4 favourite time recording. That's probably fair enough. He is the one to beat, despite being beaten over 125 lengths in the race last year. Before he ran at Royal Ascot last time out, I wrote that he's maybe just a horse that needs his seasonal debut run. He's 0 from 3 on seasonal debut, but 4 from 4 on his second and third run of the season. After Royal Ascot, he's now 5 from 5 on second and third run of the season. If that thinking is correct, then he could be in prime condition to make it 6 from 6 on second and third run of the season combined. Do I want to be backing him at 5-4? Probably not. He's one that I can leave alone at that sort of price. I think you'd be hard-pressed to ever call him bomb-proof or nailed on. But at the same time, you'd be no way surprised if he dug in and stamped his class on the race. But his presence in a race like this is always going to push plenty of others out to tempting prices, which is no bad thing. He kind of gives you a free each-way crack at something else. And then you always have the potential that he puts in one of his stinker type displays and suddenly your each way play hopefully becomes a bit more of a live win player as well. And the one I want to play that fits that mould is Sunway for David Menfier. He's the only 3-year-old in the lineup this year. I think the 3-year-old allowance puts him bang in this. He comes here off the back of a close second in the Irish Derby. I think he could well have won that if they'd just been a little bit more forceful with him. I think Ascot 1 mile 4 will suit him well. Should be enough pace to pull him into the race, which is what he wants. He's the one horse in the race that has some unexposed potential up his sleeve. So Sunway each way for me at a double figure price. I think he's about 12 or 14-1. If Auguste Rodin is one of his off days, then Sunway could well be the one to pick up more than just a place. So yep, Sunway for me in the King George. Tony, what have you got?
Yeah, I've got Somewhere, mate.
Nice.
Yeah, as you say, the only 3-year-old in the lineup. In the last 10 years, 3-year-olds have landed the spoils from 16 going to post. Tegruder in 2014, Enable 2017 and Adiyar in 2021. Of course, the Derby winner. Wings of Desire second in 2017 and King of Steel third of 10 12 months ago are the only 3-year-olds to hit the frame in the last 10 renewals. That's apart from the winners. The 3 winners. The King George at Ascot is a tough old race for 3-year-olds, but the Irish Derby second, I think he can make a good fist of things here, to be honest with you. And I was listening, I was on TalkSport 2 yesterday, and they were interviewing William Buick about Rebels Romance, and during the interview...
Willie Buick.
Sorry, Will Buick. Willie Buick. And he was talking about Rebels Romance and mentioned Sunwear. So I thought, well, that's fair enough. And then they interviewed Sheen Murphy on Middle Earth, who will be my other each-way selection for John and Thady Gosden. And he mentioned Sunwear being a danger as well. So very strange that Will Buick and Oisin Murphy both mentioning Sunwear as a bit of a danger to those at the top of the market. And as you say, if Auguste Rodin throws a stinker in, anything can happen. So Middle Earth is my other one, continues to improve for connections as a 4-year-old. Won the Group 3 Aston Park Stakes at Newbury in May before a fine third of 9 in the Group 2 Hardwick Stakes at Royal Ascot. Now postponed in 2015, finished third of 7 in the Hardwick before winning the King George. With the feat repeated 12 months later in 2016 when Highland Reel second in the Hardwick Stakes before landing the spoils at Ascot in the King George. Since then, 9 have tried to win coming from the race. From the Hardwick, just Crystal Ocean finishing second in 2018, coming close there. But Middle Earth by Roaring Lion out of a Galileo mare, beautifully bred. I think those both can go well, Sunway and Middle Earth at around 14 to 1. All right, that's it for the racing. Now it's top, middle and bottom.
Thing about loving football is you cannot explain why you love it. It just happens. Chasing a ball round a park, wanting one team to win against the other.
El Mahoney, right foot, whips it. Oh, jeez, he peeps, man.
Fabulous. Welcome back to Top, Middle and Bottom, where we are choosing our, well, it's time for our ante-post Scottish Lower League Top, Middle and Bottom pre-season special. Ben, over to you.
Yeah, time for our ante-post league winner, Trixie, which obviously involves us picking who we think will win the Scottish Championship, the Scottish First and the Scottish Second Divisions. I'll go first. My ante-post top, middle and bottom is top Scottish Championship. I am going for Livingston at 5 to 1. I spent the early part of the week trying to decide between Partick and Airdrie for the top section. But at the last minute, I made the jump to Livingston to get themselves straight back up to the Premier League at first attempt. It was a terrible season last year, but they've had a fatal clear out of the squad. Pulled in around 11 new players in the off-season. Only Airdrie so far have been more active in the transfer market. It's been paying off for them. They've had some good results in the pre-season. They've won all 3 games so far in the League Cup, conceding no goals. One of only 2 teams yet to concede in the Cup. So I'm going for Livingston in the top section. Middle, Scottish First Division, I'm going for Queen of the South at 9 to 2. This is a tricky one. I thought the First Division looked wide open. Really wanted to go for Cali Thistle and Big Dunk, friend of the show, but there is still the chance Cali Thistle might go into administration. So just too risky an option right now, Cali Thistle. What I would say, if they get their American investors on board and get some money, Cali Thistle could walk this league if they get some experienced players in, but too risky just now, so I decided to plump for Queen of the South. They've been one of the more active teams in the transfer market. They've also appointed a new manager at the start of the summer. I think it looks a good opportunity for them to get back into the Championship. So Queen of the South for me. In the middle and bottom, Scottish Second Division, I'm going for Clyde at 5 to 2. It's a no-brainer. Clyde, too big for the Second Division. Ian McCall, far too good a manager Second Division. I watched an interview with Ian McCall a couple of months ago. He outlined positions he wanted to strengthen before the season started. He's managed to get every single one of the positions filled, plus some extras. The Clyde squad looks really strong, especially up front. I only see one winner, Tony, one winner of the Scottish second, and that's Clyde. Go on the bully wee. So my top, middle, and bottom: top Livingston, middle Queen of the South, and bottom Clyde. Tony, what you got?
Very, very refined preview there, Ben. My picks are based on those that did well for me last season. Basically, Partick Thistle, which are up there near the top of the betting as well. Partick Thistle in the Championship. In League One, Montrose at around 13-2. Gang, by the way, you can put them on each way. Have a single each way on Montrose at 13-2. And on the bottom bit, it is got to be Clyde.
Got to be Clyde.
It's got to be Clyde. We've got to be right turn Clyde. We're making the right decisions here. Fantastic stuff. Partick Thistle, Montrose, and Clyde are my three, the top, middle, and bottom. Trixie, pre-season Trixie for us there on our pre-season special. And right, that's it. Many thanks for listening. Latest edition of the Racing Podblast, official sponsors of Clyde's finest strikers. Mine, the Clyde Cruyff, Rennie, and Kyle Connell as well. Best luck with your bets at Ascot this weekend. Am I going to have to read that out every week?
Yeah, maybe. Once we get a nickname for Kyle Connell, yeah, every week, mate. Absolutely.
If you're up nice and early in the mornings during the week, you can catch my breakfast show, 3Bs Radio, with a couple of tips as well. And you can find that over on 3bsradio.com and also at the Apple App Store right now, 3Bs Radio Bridlington. And don't forget, a tip a morning there. Now that Radio 4 have got rid of theirs. Now you can catch more from Ben and over on narrowinthefield.co.uk. That's narrowinthefield.co.uk. A big thanks for listening this week. Have a great weekend. Cheers, Ben.
Thanks, Donny.
We'll see you all next week.